Hello friends, myself Dr. Nandakumar Raubawale from College of Engineering Ambazogai, going to deal with Applied Thermodynamics 1. This is the first lecture in which we will be discussing about the first unit which is prescribed by Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Technological University Lonere. Not a first unit, it is a second unit wherein it is specified to study steam generators. So we'll be starting with the second unit, steam generators. Steam generators are nothing but the devices which produce the steam. In this unit, we'll be studying classification of boilers are nothing but generators, then boiler details, requirement of a good boiler, merits and demerits of fire tube and water tube boilers, boiler mounting and boiler accessories in detail. So steam generators, what this steam generator is and why and where steam is required. Introduction to steam generators. In this we'll be discussing about applications of steam, classification of boiler, terminology and the operative capacity. Coming to steam generator, what this steam generator is. A steam generator is a closed vessel, maybe a cylindrical cell. It may be vertical or horizontal, made up of high quality steel because it has to withstand high temperature and high pressure. Steam is generated from water using these steam generators. So by the combustion of fuel in the steam generator, steam is generated. Steam is generated from water and uses heat produced by combustion of fuel. The fuels may be the solid fuel, gaseous fuel or liquid fuel, that may be coal, oil or gas, and then the steam is taken out through superheater. Heater is nothing but one of the accessory which enhances the heat carrying capacity of steam. And the boiler consists of boiler mountings and accessories. The mountings are devices mounted over the boiler in order to run the boiler safely. So this is about the steam generator. What the steam generator is, it is a closed vessel made of high quality steel. Steam is generated from water using heat produced by combustion of fuel. Fuel may be coal, oil, gas, and the steam which is produced is taken through superheater to enhance the heat carrying capacity of steam. It is passed through the superheater, and the steam at high temperature is used for various applications. The boiler consists of boiler mountings and accessories. Boiler mountings are the components fixed over the boiler in order to run the boiler safely, and accessories are the attachments or additional components which are provided along with the boiler in order to enhance its efficiency or heat recovery devices. Then application of steam. So steam is used for power generation in thermal power plant, already we know. Then steam is used to run turbine or steam engine, etc. In previous days the railway engines were running on the steam, so there was a boiler fixed into the steam engine and that steam was used to run the steam engine. So steam is used for process heating. There are certain processes, chemical processes, where heat is required, and this steam is used for process heating purpose and also for space heating. So wherever some space has to be heated, then steam is used. And in case of textile industries, also for sieving and bleaching processes, steam is used. Coming to the classification of boilers. Boilers are classified based on various components or various factors. So first is according to relative position of water and hot gases. So depending on flow of water and hot gases, the boilers are classified as water tube boiler. If the water flows through the tubes, then that boiler is called as a water tube boiler, and surrounding the water tube there will be a hot gas. So water will be inside the tube and gases will be surrounding the tube. So example of this water tube boiler is Babcock-Wilcox boiler. So another boiler in this category is fire tube boiler. In this case, hot gases are passed through the tubes and water is surrounding the tube. So such a type of boiler is known as a fire tube boiler. So example of fire tube boiler is Cochrane boiler, Lancashire boiler, locomotive boiler. These are the examples of fire tube boiler. Coming to second category, that is depending on axis of cell. So if the boiler cell has got a vertical axis, it may be a cylindrical boiler cell, and if the axis of boiler cell is vertical, then we call this as a vertical boiler, and if axis of boiler cell is horizontal, then we call it as a horizontal boiler. So depending on the position of axis of boiler cell, boilers are classified in two categories: vertical boiler and horizontal boiler. Then third classification is according to location of furnace. So the furnace is nothing but a place where fuel is burned and heat is produced. If this furnace is within the boiler cell or inside the boiler assembly, then it is called as an internally fired boiler. If this furnace is located outside this boiler cell, then that is called as a externally fired boiler. So depending on location of furnace, boilers are classified in two categories: internally fired boiler and externally fired boiler. Coming to fourth classification, boilers are classified according to water circulation. So in case of a boiler, if water is circulated by a natural principle known as a thermosiphon, that is, the circulation of water takes place because of density difference. Hot water has got low density and cold water has got high density. Automatically low density water moves in the upward direction and high density water, that is cold water, moves in the downward direction. So such boilers are known as a natural circulation boiler. So this principle you might have observed it at your home. If you are going to keep a pot on the gas for heating water, automatically that water gets heated. You need not to circulate that water. So water gets heated because of natural circulation. Then in case of forced circulation, a pump will be provided which will circulate water through the boiler shell or through the tubes and absorbs heat. So here circulation of water is not by natural phenomena known as thermosiphon principle. It circulates automatically. It does not circulate automatically. It is circulated with the help of a pump. So such kind of boilers are known as a forced circulation boiler. So fifth classification of boiler is according to use of boiler. So where this boiler is used, depending on the application of boiler, boilers are classified as stationary boilers and locomotive boilers. The stationary boilers are installed in the industries. The boilers which are installed in the industries and are not capable of moving from their installed location, such boilers are known as stationary boilers. And locomotive boilers are used for the vehicles like train or the marine application ships. So such boilers are known as locomotive boilers. So move along with the application. So this is fifth classification depending on the use of boiler or application of boiler for stationary purpose or for locomotives. Then sixth classification is according to pressure generated. If the boiler generates pressure above 100 bar, such boilers are known as high pressure boilers. And if a boiler is producing pressure below 100 bar, then that boiler is known as a low pressure boiler. So depending on the pressure generated, boilers are classified as high pressure boiler and low pressure boiler. Then seventh category is according to number of tubes. So here the boilers are classified as the fire tube, water tube boiler. There will be a number of tubes in a boiler. If a boiler consists of a single tube, then it is called as a single tube boiler. And if there are n number of tubes to pass the flue gases or water, then such type of boiler having a multiple number of tubes, then we call it as a multi-tube boiler. Then coming to the terminology, the first term is cell, boiler cell. The cell of boiler is the main container, usually made in the cylindrical shape from high quality steel which contains water and steam both, and it has to withstand very high pressure and high temperature. The boiler cell is a cylindrical object which is to be made with the steel, and it is subjected to high temperature and high pressure and contains water as well as steam. And second component is furnace. So furnace is nothing but the area below the boiler cell where actually fuel is burned on the platform known as a grate, and heat liberated by the combustion of fuel is passed into the boiler shell or through the fire tubes or surrounding the water to transfer heat from flue gases to water in order to convert water into steam. So here how it is explained: furnace is suitable area and volume below the boiler shell which consists of grate to provide platform for combustion of fuel where heat is generated. So here this is the main place where heat is extracted from fuel by its combustion. Now coming to next term, grate. Grate is nothing but it is a platform, a perforated platform over which fuel is burned. So the perforations are provided in order to supply sufficient quantity of air for complete combustion of fuel. So perforations are provided for proper circulation and sufficient circulation of air for combustion of fuel. If the perforations are not provided, then complete combustion of fuel may not be achieved. As well as the perforations are provided in order to collect the ash below the grate. So burned fuel gets converted into ash, and that ash has to be collected at the bottom. So perforations perform two functions. One is it provides proper circulation of air, as well as it helps to drop this burned fuel, that is ash, into the ash pit. So this is known as a grate. Then water flow path. So the path through which water flows in the boiler is known as a water flow path. While passing through the boiler, water absorbs heat. So this path through which water is passed into the boiler cell is known as a water flow path. Initially water enters into the economizer where it absorbs heat, then it enters into the boiler cell, then it is passed into the number of tubes, then it gets converted into steam, then steam is passed through the superheater, and then it is taken for various applications. So that path is known as a water flow path. The path followed by water in the boiler during the process of heat absorption from hot gases is known as a water flow path. Then coming to gas flow path. The path followed by hot gases to impart heat to the water in order to generate steam. So when we burn fuel in the combustion chamber, flue gases will be evolved, and those gases are diverted through the boiler cell, either maybe through tubes or smoke box and through economizer, superheater and chimney. So the path followed by hot gases is known as a gas flow path. Then boiler mountings. Boiler mountings are nothing but the components which are fixed to the boiler cell for safe working of boilers, such as wall, gauges, indicator, safety wall, blow off cock, fusible plug, etc., which are called as the boiler mountings. So without boiler mountings, boiler is not treated as a safe boiler. So mountings are compulsory components which are fixed with the boiler. Then accessories. These are the additional components provided over the boiler in order to enhance the efficiency of a boiler by extracting the waste heat or waste heat recovery devices which enhance the overall efficiency of a boilers. So here you can see the components which are fitted on the boiler for enhancement of overall boiler efficiency, such as economizer, air preheater and superheater are known as a boiler accessories. Then coming to evaporative capacity. Evaporative capacity of boiler is nothing but quantity of steam generated by boiler in kg per hour at full load. So amount of quantity of steam that is generated by boiler in kg per hour at full load is known as the evaporative capacity of boiler. This is nothing but one kind of boiler specification. Coming to comparison of fire tube and water tube boiler. Fire tube boiler. In this fire tube boiler, hot gases flow inside the tube and water is surrounding the tube. So in other part, that is water tube boiler, water flows inside the tube, not turbine, and hot flue gases outside the tube. Then second difference is These boilers are generally internally fired. Fire tube boilers are internally fired, whereas water tube boilers are externally fired, that is furnaces outside the boiler shell. The fire tube boilers are capable of developing pressure up to 20 bar, whereas water tube boilers are capable of generating pressure up to 100 bars. So the pressure range of water tube boiler is higher. Then fire tube boiler has lower rate of steam production. The steam produced by fire tube boiler is at the lower rate, whereas water tube boilers are producing steam at the higher rate than the steam of production than the fire tube boiler. That is, high capacity boilers are water tube boilers. Not suitable for large power plants. Fire tube boilers are not suitable for large power plants, whereas water tube boilers are suitable for large power plants. So here the fire tube boiler involves less risk of explosion because already pressure developed is low. Therefore, the risk of explosion is less, whereas water tube boilers are capable of generating pressure up to 100 bars. So there is high risk to explosion. There will be chance of explosion. For a given power, it occupies large floor space. Fire tube boilers occupies large space, whereas water tube boiler occupies less space compared to the fire tube boilers when compared with the steam generation capacity. Then fire tube boiler is difficult to construct. Fire tube boilers are difficult to construct, whereas water tube boilers are easier to construct. Then comparing fire tube boiler with water tube boiler, the transportation of fire tube boiler is difficult because size is larger, whereas water tube boilers are simple in transportation because size is smaller. The fire tube boiler requires less skill to operate as compared to water tube boiler, but water tube boiler requires skilled operator to operate. The fire tube boilers are difficult to repair and clean as they are internally fired, whereas water tube boilers are externally fired and easier to repair and clean. Fire tube boilers require large cell diameter because the fire tube is situated inside the cell, whereas water tube boiler require small cell diameter because the furnace is installed outside and water is passing through the tubes. Then the efficiency of fire tube boiler is less as compared to water tube boiler. And last one is the maintenance of fire tube boiler is costly. It requires regular inspection, whereas water tube boiler maintenance is easier and is not costly. The example of fire tube boiler is Lancashire boiler, and example of water tube boiler is Babcock Wilcox boiler. So with this we have seen classification of boilers as well as comparison of fire tube and water tube boilers. Also we have discussed terminology concerned with the boiler.